Which one do you prefer?
Here is okay.
Okay.
I'm very thankful to the club members and the president for having invited me to come and speak to you. I am a youth like you. I'm a born of 1991.
Sure.
I celebrate living 33 years and now, and I desire to share with you on the matter of living to be a just, productive, and orderly person. And that is what will result into what we've seen as time management in an environment where we are working, studying, and we are able to be productive in that environment. Like I've been introduced, I studied education and specifically to educate entrepreneurship. I also studied management learning with Nkumba University and also a degree in leading change with Estonia, Tallinn in Europe, which is leading change in digitization and climate transition, and that is green transition. So I'm privileged to be speaking to you, the Rotaractors, the members of the Rotary, and all the sponsors of this event. I thank you. I work with the Action Entrepreneurs. I'm the proprietor of the Action Entrepreneurs. I started this in 2011. I registered it 2011, but the idea of starting it started in my senior 6. That was in 2009. And then I said, no, when you have an idea, this idea is ineffective unless you have taken action about it. Indeed, that is the reason why the name is Action Entrepreneurs. We can have ideas. We have very many people with ideas. But do we take action about these ideas? Otherwise, the country is having many people who have ideas, but a few take action about those ideas. Indeed, that is the reason why we are called the Action Entrepreneurs. When we had to start something, indeed, we take action about it. And we do planning, management, and education with consultancy. Now, I would like to share with you with the background of personal experience in enterprise, as well as a student in the university. We share a common ambition, and everybody in this world shares these common ambitions, which we call common interests. One of them is we share the interest of being productive. Who likes not to be productive? And now, for you, your desire is to be unproductive. Possibly, everyone desires to be productive. And the other, everyone, even the one who we say is disorganized, desires to be orderly. So everyone desires to be orderly. It is only that circumstances draw us into being disorderly. And again, everyone also desires to be just. Just. It is only that people deviate and then they become unjust. So we share that common interest. The other resource that we share whether you are a president of, of, of a continent or a president of a state, or whether you don't have even where to sleep, is the gift of time. Everybody in the world has 24 hours in a day. Whether it's tall, whether it's black, 24 hours in a day. Even the presidents have 24 hours. The king has 24 hours. Even you has 24 hours. I also have 24 hours. So now the difference is how we use the 24 hours in every day and every second that passes. Indeed, in the measurement of the world, it was selected that the standard measure of time is nothing else but, you know, the SI unit of time. You people have studied in schools. The systemic international. If you're measuring length, you measure it in terms of meters. If you're measuring time, you measure it in terms of seconds. Now, effective people in handling time understand what it means a second. If somebody cannot know the value of a second, that person will never be a time manager. That has been decided all around the world to be the standard measure of time. Indeed, I keep viewing the WrestleMania, and yes, that is wrestling. Roman Reigns, you've watched wrestling. I also keep following up athletics. I saw a testimony where an athlete said they won me by 0.3 microseconds and was regulating for having lost because of the 0.3 microseconds. So it tells us that for us to be able to measure everything we do, we've got to be very time sensitive. And that is not, there is no course you go and now you're studying a bachelor's of time management. I think you have not seen it. So it is an ingredient because time is a measure of what we do. So you study what to do certain things, and under there, you have to be sensitive with time. Now, I would like to share with you some things you need to ponder about and think about deeply. Most of the entrepreneurs in the world and inventors have not gone in high school and have not graduated, have not gone higher in education. Most of the world entrepreneurs who are very sound in the world have not, even I think in Uganda here. How many degrees does Sudil have? Okay. So you need to think about it so that we can tell what makes other people enterprise and others not to enterprise. Most high-level CEOs and COOs, Chief Operating Officers, in multinational companies are not Ugandans. If you go to check who is at the top of MTN, who is at the top of Airtel, they are not generally Ugandans. And actually, some companies are actually hiring Kenyans to be managers. We need to identify why so that we are able to overcome some of the challenges we are likely to undergo. Companies and organizations that live longer than 100 years are ridden on ideas and plans that were planted by their first proprietors. There are companies that live 100 years, I think. In terms of organization, I've heard that the Rotary is going to celebrate 100 years. It sounds It sounds something very small, but possibly the proprietors could have passed on. But the spirit with which they began the Rotary is still progressing. So what do those people who start organizations that live for 100 years bear in mind and at heart that has to be shared with others so that these organizations continue in progress? Another aspect to ponder about: one cannot build a strong organization or anything strong unless that person has a generational perspective. If you want to see what this means, one day think that you're going to die in the next 3 days, and then see your actions, what you do. You will be doing things for just 3 days because that is the span of time within which your ideas and plans are confined. So there are people who are out there and they are planning to do things in a span which will last for hundreds of years. They are also people. However, in our communities, we also have those people who plan up to a week, up to a monthly salary, and that is the summary of their lives. So we would like to live a life which plans aspects beyond a day, beyond a week, beyond a month, and build for a generation. So it is important to go out of this convention with the three aspects. I need to live a just, productive, and orderly life, and to avoid living a life that is unjust, unproductive, and disorderly. So it is important to take note in there. Who is a just person and how can I be just? Because it is very central in life as you're planning your daily activities. Life is balanced if it is just, and unbalanced when it is unjust. There are two things that makes a just person. One is having justice in every decision that we take. Justice means taking a decision without partiality or favoritism. You take a decision not bearing in mind that maybe this is my relative, so I will make sure that I pocket the wrongs. But when you are not a relative, then I say, I will box you because you are not. You've heard of people saying, I'm not your father. Sinza kuzaala. Toli mwannyinaze. Then now they get bent because they are handling matters of others, and when it comes to their relatives or close people, they keep hiding what's not right. Now, because you need leadership in life, whether at a personal level or at a small community or a wider community, you need the aspect of justice. Now, justice will tell you to do, if you have gone wrong, you have gone wrong, regardless of what you are, regardless of the position you are in. Well, listen to everybody, regardless of their color, their positions, and whatever, because justice listens to everybody with no bias. Now, when justice is taken, for example, somebody can go wrong, and then we need to take an action, a decision against that person. It means if somebody in earlier years, if you would steal something, you would be killed because you've done wrong. That is justice. But justice has got to be balanced with what we call mercy. Mercy. That's why those who have showed us a balance of justice used in courts. That balance has two sides. One side has justice, the other side must have mercy to balance out justice. Otherwise, everybody who would go wrong would be sentenced to death, because there is no that relaxation of this is a person. I even personally go wrong. Let us give this person pardon or even forgiveness, even when this person is proved guilty. That ingredient is the key, whether you're leading a family or you're leading a community. And as a leader, over time, there are instances in life that happens that can be disgusting and actually disappointing, that you need to concentrate on making the balances at each time. Otherwise, anything unjust you do in any time will accumulate into your future. And anything just that you offer to anybody will also be accumulating into your future, resulting into either fruits which are rotten or fruits which are actually scented and nutritious. The other aspect is the aspect of productivity. Living a life of being productive. Being productive is applying a talent that is now your gift. It means that every one of us has a talent, and that talent has got to be discovered. Many times we live a life where we just do courses, and when we have not identified who exactly we are. I read a book by Rick Warren which was titled, What on Earth Am I Here For? The Purpose-Driven Life. What on earth are you here for? So to be productive, you've got to apply that talent that you are here on earth for, and then invest efforts on it. After investing the efforts on it, you yield resources. Then be faithful. Be faithful with the resources that you have generated. We have seen some scenarios where people are so talented and are applying efforts, but they are not faithful. So, applying talent will make you creative. Then, also, investing efforts will make you resourceful. But being faithful will help you to be disciplined. Discipline as a what? Being disciplined as a person who has who is productive. We know there's people when they get money and accumulated wealth, that time now becomes a time of don't joke around with me. Do you know me? Do you know who am I? Do you know who I am? Do you know where I come from? Do you know my position? Because now resources have accumulated. The other component I've been sharing with I shared with you is the aspect of being orderly. Being orderly. How can we be orderly? Being orderly requires that you be arranged. Arrangement begins from the mind. Begins from the mind. And being regulated. Being arranged will help you to work effectively. Arrange every day. I see people, even where they put their pens, they look for a pen as if they have delegated who should keep it for them. They look for it from every pocket. Arranged. Being arranged is very key. You look for your sock for the whole morning and it is nowhere. Because of being arranged in the mind and being regulated is very key in life. The world is looking for such persons, such people. Now that will help you to be efficient. Indeed, education The purpose of education is to make people orderly, not productive. That's why people get it wrong. The purpose of education is to arrange the mind to perform effectively, and also arrange the person, regulate people's actions so that they work efficiently mu bwangu. That to the extent that when you get that character of being arranged and being regulated, then now you use that effectiveness and efficiency to be productive. That's why people who are organized in their minds are productive even without going through education. By being organized and being orderly, it tells you that a person adopts being educated, even without having papers. That's indeed the reason why I was telling you that most of the entrepreneurs and the inventors in the world are not have not gone through school, but are doing it and are progressing. So let us accumulate the knowledge through this time and also have the skills so that we can be organized. Indeed, having knowledge is different from not being ignorant. It's one thing to have knowledge, to be knowledgeable, and another to be ignorant. I've seen that many people who have knowledge and have gone through school assume that they are not ignorant. It is not proper. That because I have a master's degree, I'm pursuing my doctorate, I have all the degrees I have possessed, then I am not ignorant. It is not proper. I have the knowledge, I have the skills. Ignorance is another thing to fight every day, because ignorance comes from the word ignore, which means not considering something that is worth as being worth. That is very key. It means that if you know something is good and worthwhile to do and choose not to do it, you have ignored it, and that environment will call you an ignorant person. So it is something to actually work upon every day. That's why managers and leaders who are very effective in the times we are in work around not to ignore. They check every little thing and see that they are consistent. They are that organized. And that is the person we expect to see in the 21st century. I will really thank you for the gift of time you've given me. In my conclusion, I've shared with you that we need to adopt a life of being just. And that to be just, you need two things to balance. You need to have justice and also have mercy upon everybody. Two, you need to be productive. And to be productive, you need to use your talent. And when you use your talent, you identify the talent you have and use it, you become creative. Then invest efforts, put efforts. And when you put efforts, you become resourceful. Resources keep on accumulating on your desk. Then also learn to be faithful with these resources, and that will build a discipline in you where you can even share the resources that you have with others. Then being orderly, I've shared with you that you need to be orderly in life, and this orderliness begins in the mind. You need to be arranged and well regulated to function efficiently and also function effectively. That's how I was able to be able to study. I studied at Nkumba University my bachelor's. My bachelor's I got a first class, the highest first class that year, with four with 4.89 cumulative grade point average in the School of Education. And also at Masters, I also got a first class at 4.75. The highest scores you can get from a university in terms of cumulative grade point averages are 5. 5. So if you scored 4.89, it means you're remaining with 1.011 to complete them. I have drank what I'm sharing with you, what it means to be just. Being just, I will find him struggling and say, I take on his struggles and say, now let us help each other, fix it. That is justice. Fix it together, and that's how people keep on accumulating on your side. Being productive, I'll convert that. When he links me with 70 people, I will charge them. You won't drink all my time without paying for it. I'm using my talent and also and my efforts to accumulate resources around me and be what? Productive. You need to have a place where you're working. Being at the university and sinking yourself in those rooms will not be helpful to you. Get a place where you are working as well as studying at the university. You will miss one lecture or two, but those lectures you've missed, there is an alternative lecture you have got at the workplace. That is also a lecture in life. So let us use our time. In my conclusion, I celebrate to have worked in these organizations for now 15 years in service. And I really realized that it is important, if you identify that you are an entrepreneur, that thought that you have, give it a name, register it, and start it. You know, in Uganda, the biggest problem we have with people is that they think that to start things is so hard. Register it, 20, is it 20,600 shillings. Register it and then start on it. You will note sometimes starting businesses is like sex. You learn when you have done it. No one is going to teach you. Yeah, thank you indeed.
Let us give a round of